Well, it's great to be with everybody this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. First, I want to recognize 11th District Council Member Peggy Henson, who's with us this morning. Peggy, thank you for joining us. And next, I want to thank Holly Wiedemann and AU Associates, developers of this complex, for hosting us today. This is one of the apartments that we've built through the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. We've used $7 million in city funds to leverage a lot more than $20 million in private investment. And we've today are underway with more than 520 units of new or rehabilitated homes for affordable apartments. The grant we're talking about today is helping people who are homeless move off the streets into permanent housing such as this. I want to thank Rick McQuady, who's here today, for managing our Affordable Housing Trust Fund. I understand we've broken ground on more apartments at this site. You can see that just outside. And also here, Carl Tackett, President of the Lexington-Bluegrass Association of Realtors, Steve Polston, Board Chair of New Life Center, and Charlie Lanter, our Director of Homelessness, Prevention and Intervention. Now, you're going to hear from all of these folks shortly. We're here to celebrate with Realtors, with LBAR. LBAR has received a National Association of Realtors Housing Opportunity Program grant, and local realtors have also provided funding. These grants will be used to remove first-month financial barriers to permanent housing to help with the deposit of first month's rent. Carl, I want to congratulate you, and I want to thank you, and I want to ask you to tell us more about these grants now. All right, Carl?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. Mayor Gray, Mr. Lanter, Mr. Polston, distinguished guests. Today I stand before you with my realtor family to say how excited we are to have the opportunity to help someone that may be less fortunate than most of us. I know many of us have known or do know someone suffering the hardship of being homeless. And today we get a chance to help at least some of those less fortunate get off the street and into a home. Recently, my Lexington-Bluegrass Association Realtors President-elect Ty Brown saw firsthand for a period of 24 hours what it's like to be homeless. I know Ty was extremely humbled by the experience, and today he's extremely proud of this moment. Through this grant, LBAR, Lexington-Bluegrass Association Realtors, is pleased to be awarded a $15,000 grant from the National Association of Realtors Housing and Opportunity Program. And in addition, LBAR will put in an additional $1,500. LBAR will partner with the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government Office of Homelessness, Prevention, and Intervention, and the New Life Day Center to reduce homelessness. These funds will support the Rent and Deposit Assistance RDA project. This grant will be used to pay the deposit and first month's rent for up to 15 households experiencing homelessness who have documented income to pay ongoing rent. Also, this grant will help raise awareness about the need for more housing opportunities in our community, as well as identify and promote solutions that address affordability. Through the housing opportunity grants, homeownership can become an attainable dream for many hardworking American families across the country. Reducing homelessness helps stabilize neighborhoods and improves the overall quality of a community while helping realtors promote and sell neighborhoods. Realtors build communities and work hard to make housing affordable to all who are willing and able to own a home. As the region's leading advocate for home ownership, LBAR understands the value and joy of owning a home. Also, LBAR represents more than 2,800 realtors located in Fayette and additional counties, from Moorhead to Lawrenceburg to Whitesburg to Williamsburg. Again, my realtor family is extremely excited about this opportunity to help those that are less fortunate but want to live in a home. Thank you.
Carl, I want to thank you. It is so important to see businesses step up and get involved in these programs, and we all appreciate it. It's going to take all of us working together to effectively end homelessness in our city. I mentioned AU, one of many businesses that has built affordable housing, and Todd Johnson, who's here from the Home Builders Association of Lexington. Home builders have built several houses for homeless veterans, and they've helped renovate a house for a family that was homeless, among many other projects that the home builders have done for our city. Now I'm going to shift to the New Life Day Center. New Life Day Center will be administering this LBAR grant, which grew out of a pilot project funded by the city and administered at the center. Now, this project is such an important initiative for our city. I don't think I've ever seen $10,000 go so far. Now, you're going to hear more about that from Charlie Lanter. But the return on investment that this represents is amazing. And so much of it goes, and I give the credit to Steve Polston, who's here with us today. Through the pilot project, 83 people were housed. 83 of our citizens were housed in 9 months at a cost of just $250 per household. Now, those are extraordinary numbers. Steve Polston started his project, the New Life Day Center, about 6 years ago, not that long ago. And I remember when Steve came to me, this is a guy who is a nuclear physicist who has turned his life's work to charity in so many meaningful and amazing and remarkable ways. And I want to recognize him today and ask him to come up next to talk about Steve's role in this project and the New Life Day Center's role in this project. Steve?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much. First of all, I'm happy to be in Lexington, which I consider the sweet spot of the universe. I wasn't born here, but I got here as fast as I could. So my wife and I we came from Knoxville. We love Lexington, Kentucky. And so part of that love extends into this project, and part of the reason we do it. You likely are not aware that 75% of the homeless in Lexington come to our place, our day center, each month. It gives us a lot of influence. It gives us a lot of influence and leverage with the homeless, but it also is an awesome responsibility. So our day center touches nearly every homeless in Lexington, and we have two goals. We keep it simple. We're faith-based. We want to get people in housing. And then if some of them won't, or not able to get in housing, we want to make better citizens on the street. We feel like we're doing that. We feel like that's a double win for the homeless and for the city and the neighborhood. But our focus today is on the housing. Carl talked about that. We are deeply humbled by this grant, this partnership of government and business working together to solve problems. So we have a lot of data by now in 6 years that we've accumulated in our computer bank. We evaluate that data. It doesn't just sit there. I come from a corporate background running companies, so I'm a data obsessive person. We evaluate that data, and we found out some secrets, at least secrets to us, that we've been able to surface and do something with. And that is that about 40-some% of the homeless people in Lexington get some kind of income that probably is sufficient to be in housing, to pay rent and pay the utilities. But they can't surmount this initial hurdle of the deposit and the first month's rent. That's what we did. We said, what would happen if we, as an experiment, we gave that money to them? Charlie Lanter is going to speak in a minute. He stepped forward from the mayor's office, and he gave us an initial grant, put trust in us. I think we've delivered on that, and so now the realtors have stepped forward as a business entity, and so those two coupled together make a great partnership. So I want to close with an introduction or two. I've learned in corporate positions, running companies, that every great idea is only as great as its implementers. Such is the case here. I have to give them some recognition and credit. Tyler Hurst is our recently appointed executive director. You won't be able. He's behind you there. Tyler has done a magnificent job of leadership, and then the other great implementer is Debbie Farinelli, who's program manager. These two have put the wheels under this and made it go. You know, it was a great idea with great implementers. You put those two together, you got success. I think that's what's happened here. I appreciate all you coming out and the press coverage. Thank you.
You know, Steve mentioned a couple of things, and I want to punctuate what he said. He's collected data for 6 years now. He's been doing this because it's the right thing to do. It's his life's mission today. And I really can't thank him enough as mayor, because he took this information that he's gathered for 6 years now, and he translated that information into what's good for our community. And what's been an amazing, I said it earlier, what's been an amazing already return on a very modest investment by the city. And now leverage this into this new grant from LBAR. Steve mentioned Charlie Lantern. Charlie is our Director of Homelessness Prevention and Intervention, the office. And Charlie, too, has done a remarkable job. Charlie, working with Steve and others across the community, has pulled this together in astonishing ways. Now, he's here to talk about his office's role in growing community support for our goal to end homelessness. Charlie?
Thank you, Mayor. In the Office of Homelessness, we identify specific challenges, and then we build partnerships to efficiently address homelessness and the causes of homelessness. We're at our best when we can serve as a catalyst, an incubator for new ideas, and then bring the community together to support and fund and sustain those ideas. The rent deposit assistance program emerged from that process. You know, we wanted to meet a need for people who just had small barriers. You know, so much of our time in the Office of Homelessness is spent on folks who have some really significant barriers, severe mental illness, severe addiction, but that doesn't represent everyone who's homeless. As Steve mentioned, many of our folks have income, and so, you know, it's heartbreaking to think that just $50 or $250 could actually keep someone homeless. And so that was the sort of the common sense that went into the thinking behind this project. So our office provided a startup grant in March to test this model, and the results, as you've heard, speak for themselves. The beauty of this is that with this grant, we have now leveraged 2 private dollars for every taxpayer dollar invested, and that's only growing, and I suspect it will continue to grow. Every story of homelessness is different, and so every solution for homelessness has to be a little bit different. No human being is the same, neither is their story or their situation. So thank you to the Lexington-Bluegrass Association of Realtors for responding to our call for help with this program. You've been amazing. Thank you to Steve and the New Life Day Center. We have a wonderful homelessness prevention and intervention board in our community that guides these efforts. Steve Polston is on that board. Councilmember Henson is on that board. Another of our board members, Adrian Wallace, is here today. So we're just thankful for the support of those folks in our community that help push this forward. And thanks to Mayor Gray and the council members who fund this office, fund our work, because we wouldn't be here if it weren't for that. So together, I think as a community, as a government, as a private community, and even together alongside people who are homeless, we can build a community where where homelessness is rare, brief, and non-recurring, and that's our goal. Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie. Okay, thanks everybody for being here. Hey, Holly. Stu, greetings. Thank you all for being here. We'll take any questions now, and then we'll be available for the media. Got any questions now for me? All right. Okay.
Do you have a number specifically of homelessness right now in Lexington?
I can let Charlie address that.
Our annual point-in-time count, which is done really just annually in January, found just under 1,100 individuals who met the HUD definition of homelessness. That includes 500 to 600 people in transitional housing, 500 to 600 people in shelters, places like Steve's Place, and as many as you could go, depending on the season, anywhere from 25 to 100 who are actually physically on the streets, sometimes more because they're difficult to find. But that's a number that we're hoping continues to dwindle. It has decreased over the past couple of years.
So I think that's, if we put those numbers into context, 1,183 out of 1,100 in terms of total numbers were able to be housed through this program this year. That represents about 6%, 6 to 7% of the total. So a remarkable, again, I use that language, I use that word, but it's a remarkable return on the effort that's been made and the investment that's been made so far.
One more
Okay.
question. Can you
Yeah.
give a timeline from the funds for this grant to come in and then the time to build the housing and to get more of those numbers down?
Well, actually, it's not necessarily building new housing, it's actually taking housing that's already available and utilizing that housing that's available. Now, we do have new units that are coming on stream as a function of our Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Those new units, I mentioned 520 since we initiated the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. They're either have been built or they're underway today.
Is
Okay.
this one of those areas where?
This is actually where we are today, is a project that was funded partially through the Affordable Housing Trust Fund that the city initiated.
So someone who was in a rough situation could get the grant and actually move in here?
Into one of these units would be available. Yep. Okay? All right. Thank you all very much.
Yep.